Your prayers have been answered if you've been raided by flying creatures and been wiped out. The latest patch 1.3.1 is now available. Should be going live on Xbox and Steam. Make sure you restart your systems, and it's got a whole bunch of fixes and nerfs for the raid defense mechanics. So we're going to cover this, and we're also going to be talking about 1.0 and why I think we're going to get a release date announcement very soon. And if you really want to support the channel, go and check out my 50 Days of Grounded video, giving a recap of everything I've done so far in my live streams. Put a lot of work into it. I'd appreciate if you go and give it a watch and maybe a like. We've just started up the next set of 50 days, so eventually there will be 100 days of survival. But yeah, go and see the first part 1, where I have to build a giant mushroom castle before the bugs strike back. Okay, the amount of extra creatures that are sent during base attacks in multiplayer has now been lowered. Lowered the amount of negative reputation players gain when hanging around certain areas of the yard that aren't bug dens. So it does look like you're only really going to be triggering more raid mechanics to be going up when you're actually going into the anthill or the black anthill. Players no longer generate negative reputation with bees just by being in the flower bed area. The max amount of flying creatures can be attacking your base at the exact same time has been halved. No change for non-flying creatures. It's always a balancing thing. That's what early access is for, not just the public test branches. The devs are pretty quick to respond to feedback. So clearly you guys have said that maybe the flying creatures were still just a bit too OP. I have seen comments saying that your bases were absolutely wrecked and destroyed. Obviously in the future, I do think they need to keep it going though. It needs to be a challenge and danger, but they still need to give us some more tools or improve the stuff we've got. And that's what they've done also in the rest of the patch. Infected gnats no longer participate in defense events. Infected wolf spiders no longer participate in base attacks for now. So it looks like they will add them back, but I'm guessing once we get better defenses. Defense event creatures are now much easier to stun. I have said that I do believe the pollen turret was just a little bit too weak sauce still. And defense creatures now remain stunned for longer. And again, it was a problem. You'd shoot like a mosquito with the pollen shot, then you jump out of the turret, and by the time you ran over to go and kill it, it'd already risen in the air. Defense event creatures now have a much lower stun cooldown, so it does look again like you'll be able to stun them more regularly. And defense creatures now take 3 times damage from turrets, up from 2. So that is big news. It means that the turrets are going to be doing the job and worth actually having as a base defense feature. I'm surprised to see so much of a nerf to some of the other stuff, given we've got what I thought was the most important thing, more damage with the turrets. But I guess they are worried about players that haven't unlocked some of that stuff and maybe being attacked in the wrong kind of time. The amount of attacking creatures sent to larger bases have now also been decreased in size. So that was one thing I hadn't realised. It does look like they scale up depending on the size of your building. Some of you guys have been telling me as well in the comments that the bigger the base, the more creatures have come to attack it. So obviously they've nerfed that. Turrets are now unlocked on earlier burgle chips. That's another change we'll have to cover. The turret recipes have been changed to require lower tier ingredients to account for earlier acquisition. And the pollen turrets now guaranteed to stun almost all wave creatures in a single shot. Creatures' stun cooldown does have to elapse before they can be stunned again. But also the pollen turrets also going to apply a 70% movement slow speed for 20 seconds. This sounds massively OP now. Turrets can aim slightly higher and lower now too. The player can now attack enemies using melee through windows and over walls more reliably. And they've also made some changes to charcoal, explosive burr and more. So the charcoal torch durability has been doubled. It only requires 1 charcoal piece to repair now. The canteen has been doubled with durability, and it can now hold 6 drops. Again, I reckon some of you guys were complaining a little bit, saying that it just didn't seem like it was worth it. I mean, the torch works underwater. You can repair it, so I always thought it was pretty good. And then explosive burr traps have been changed. They're going to do significantly less damage to buildings and players. They'll do more damage to wave creatures. It's also going to have more explosion range, and they can now be placed on walls and ceilings. And this is good. It did feel like the burr traps just weren't kind of worth crafting or making. You'd still have to finish off a lot of bugs, like even just a red ant soldier. Bug would literally have to be right over it to take full damage. So again, it sounds great. All base armor damage threshold values increased by 10%. That's a big one as well. Looks like people have been complaining maybe about the state of the armor. I'm not too sure. And they've made some changes to creature cards. Now, I've been saying to people, please don't bother reloading the game to go and get the gold cards. I know I've seen some tutorials and friends of mine and people are doing it and stuff. It's great. But from what they've said in the past, or what we know about 1.0 release, there's going to be some sort of reward associated So I just can't imagine that they're going to suddenly give us a whole bunch of rewards if we spent all this time getting gold. I could be wrong, maybe I am. But anyway, you don't have to worry so much about reloading your game. Looting the last existing Taze T, Ruz T and Arc R in the yard will guarantee regular and gold card unlocks for those creatures. This will retroactively unlock for those who have already looted all of those creatures in their yard upon loading your game. Looting the assistant manager will grant you the gold card even if you had not previously peeped it. And again, it's going to reactively or retroactively activate. Literally every complaint I've seen on some of the comments in the last week or so has pretty much been fixed here. So great job, Obsidian. So quick to respond to what people want. This is why they are one of the best development teams going. Bug fixes, all platforms. You can invite players to your game and join player games via Steam Overlay again. They've got better usage for the Xbox Series S in terms of memory, so that should stop or prevent more crashes. And your items are not going to no longer gradually lose durability after multiple save loads on difficulties that are not medium. There was a fix that's been applied to ant colonies that was causing the system to crash. Also, games dealing with quests, random shutdown crash, and a crash related to players approaching and moving away from creatures. Black Soldier ants that are part of defense events are properly lootable again. And grinder items properly move to completed section on complete instead of getting stuck in the queue section. Mixer no longer takes a long time to stop spinning on success, and the Ruz T gold cards unlock properly now. So there we go, that is huge stuff. Great update, hotfixing, lots of buffs, lots of nerfs, but all in the right spot. I will do a more detailed video. I will showcase how to go and get the new turrets again. It really does look like they really want you to have these turrets up and running to help your base defense. I do think in the future they will mess around with this again, and they probably will nerf or buff some more of the features to make it a little bit more challenging. But clearly they want to get more players used to it, having your defenses set up before they maybe boost the attacks of the damage of the creatures again. So we're just over 3 weeks away from when I think we're going to find out the release date, the full release date of Grounded. The Xbox Bethesda Showcase event is going to be on the 12th of June. I'm going to be covering it on my main survival channel. Go and check it out, JPG. But of course, if we do get that release date, I will give you a full video telling you everything you need to know about it. Now last year we actually got the reveal of the Doom and Shroom Mushroom building piece update. So yeah, I'm fully expecting this is a big event with the delays to Starfield as well as Redfall. Xbox would like to be packing this out with as many kind of options to say something's happening, we're going to get a release date this year or not or whatever. That's when I expect it, and I am expecting Grounded to release. I know I've said in the past that there was an industry insider, Jeff Grubb, that kind of said that maybe Grounded would be delayed to next year. But devs have been so confident in talking about the release later this year. I think that's going to happen for sure now, especially again with all the other problems and delays with other stuff. But we're in the end game for sure. Grounded is approaching its full 0.10, and yeah, I kind of still think it's going to end up being maybe September time that will get the full release, with the next big update happening possibly in August. But that will be mostly quality of life bug fixes before the final one that adds all of the brand new areas like the upper yards, the undershed and more. So look out for that, keep that on your eyeball, pop it into your calendar. I'll be covering it in a big way across both my channels on 12th of June. It's a Sunday, so I'll be live streaming pretty much the whole event. And there we go. Thank you so much for supporting my second channel, guys. If you're here for Grounded, I'm going to carry on delivering. I will be showcasing some newer games soon too, but we'll just hit 1 million views on this channel. And we're just about to hit 5k subs. So I really appreciate all the support. And that's it. I'll see you right back with some more Grounded content over the weekend. Bye bye.